Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Tricia Van Laar, Dr. Van Laar. I will be your instructor for the summer 2024 medical microbiology course. I am a full-time faculty member in the Department of Biological Sciences at Stanislaus State, so just up the road from you a little bit. I'm up in Turlock instead of in Fresno. But prior to my taking a job at Stan State, I was actually a full-time faculty member in the biology department at Fresno State. And you might wonder, well, now why would you leave Fresno State and go to Stan State? And so the reason for that mostly is because I had twins a few years ago, and my parents live in Turlock and offered to help with childcare, so that was really helpful. I also did my bachelor's degree at Stan State, so I am a product of the CSU system. And when a faculty position opened up in my department that I considered to be my home, it really felt like it was too good to be true. That said, of course, I still have a big soft spot for Fresno State, which is why I still periodically will teach a class there now and then, like the class you're taking now. So I'm very familiar with Fresno State and the Fresno State Department. I'm familiar with the classes. I'm familiar with most of the faculty. A couple of them were hired after I left, so I don't know them as well, but pretty much everybody else I know well. And so if you have questions about particular things in biology, feel free to ask, and hopefully I can point you in the right direction. If you have questions specifically about microbiology, I'm your gal. That's my jam. My research program focuses mostly on microbial genomics. That means I like studying the genetics of microbes, mostly using computational tools. So I like to do microbiome analysis, I like to do whole genome sequencing, transcriptome analysis, all that good stuff. And so at both Fresno State and now at Stan State, I have taught classes in microbiology, of course, medical microbiology, bioinformatics, genetics. Honestly, the list goes on and on. I think I taught 17 different classes at Fresno State, so I could, again, tell you a lot about those classes if you need any help. Like I mentioned before, I am an alumna of Stan State, so I have a bachelor's degree in the CSU system. I did my master's degree at the University of the Pacific in Stockton, and my PhD at the University of Texas at San Antonio. My PhD is in cell and molecular biology, and I did my dissertation project on a biochemical pathway in the bacteria that causes Lyme disease. So we'll talk about that bacterium a little bit later in the term. I did my postdoc also in San Antonio at the U.S. Army Institute for Surgical Research in the Dental and Trauma Research Detachment on antibiotic-resistant bacteria and their impacts on wound healing in soldiers coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. So I was at Fort Sam Houston, which is within San Antonio. Just a little bit more about myself so you all feel like you know who you're dealing with, I guess. That sounds really ominous when I say it that way. So you know who your instructor is. You know who you're listening to when you're listening to these videos. I mentioned before I have twins. You may or may not hear them in some of the videos. I apologize. I try to record while they're sleeping, but they're toddlers and they sleep when they want to sleep. The other thing that doesn't sleep when I think it should sleep is my rooster. So you may also hear him in a video. His name is Buster, and he's very handsome. So just picture a handsome rooster named Buster if you ever hear him. I am a bird nerd. Those of you who know Dr. Slade, he's also a bird nerd. He's my friend, and we have collaborated on some really cool work that we've published and we've gotten some NSF funding for. And he even, when I lived in Fresno, came to my house and let me hang out with the birds with him. So that's my major hobby, is looking at birds. Of course, I have so much free time between my full-time job, this job, and also the fact that I'm working on my MBA at Fresno State. So very, very busy, but it is summer, so I'm a little less busy. Feel free to shoot me an email at any time. My email address is tvanlaar@csufresno.edu. I won't be holding office hours per se, but again, feel free to reach out via email. If necessary, we can always try to meet via Zoom. Just let me know. I hope you enjoy the class over the summer. This is one of my favorite classes to teach. I will tell you that the feedback I get about this class is mostly, this class is one of the hardest classes I've ever taken, but it's also one of my favorites. So I hope you feel the same way. I mean, I hope it's not too hard, but hopefully you're not taking the other classes at the same time. You're just taking this one, so it's not too bad. But I do hope it ends up being one of your favorites, because it's definitely one of mine. So I look forward to getting to know you through your work. And if, again, have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email.